It's their scarcity mindset. I don't have enough leads. There's no lack of leads, dude. There's no lack. There's lack of creativity of find where to get their leads. There's a lack of initiative to go get up off your ass and go knock on doors. Or, even if it's an email to a real estate agent, or if you're brand new, you should just concentrate on getting nothing but reviews. That's all you should concentrate on. It's getting a review, getting a review, getting a review, getting a review.
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have Jay Burnham from Mr. Big Stuff Moving. Jay, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for anybody who doesn't know who Jay is, he's got a YouTube channel with thousands of subscribers where he's helped other moving businesses grow their business, and he also has his own moving business. So give everybody your elevator pitch, a little bit about yourself for somebody who might not know you.
I have basically two fronts. On the first front, I have my YouTube channel, which has nearly 10,000 subscribers. It's the largest YouTube channel of its kind in the entire world. I'm also a 4-time published author. You can find my books on Amazon. I also have a very robust and active Facebook group, which kind of supplements the YouTube channel. So yeah, since 2016, I've been teaching people how to start, run, and build moving businesses from scratch. I started Mr. Big Stuff, my moving company, in 2004, January 1st, as an experiment to show people that you could start a moving business with nothing other than $100. And I documented that on my YouTube channel. So I started with $100 January 1st, 2024 with $100 and nothing more than my experience. So I did that, and we did this last year on January 1st. I did a video on the YouTube channel, which you can see, where we did, and I showed you the exact stats and incomes and all that. And we did close to $225,000 in 1 year's time, just doing moving labor and other ancillary type home services that circle the moving business.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Wow. All right. So why moving? What got you into moving in the first place?
I started in the moving business through a guy who hired me to be a mover. He was a rogue mover. He was kicked out of 2 Men in a Truck as a franchisee for doing whatever he was doing. They kicked him out. He started his own thing. And I saw what he was doing. And seeing as he wasn't paying me, I said I could do that same stuff. I had a background in public relations and marketing and so on and so forth. I was good at sales. I'm not great at sales, but I'm good. And so I said, I'll just do it. And I started doing what he was doing, started making my own money on the side. He caught wind of it, decided not to ever use me ever again, which is fine. He still owes me like $300 from not paying me. And so it is what it is. I'll never see that money. And he's no longer in the moving business now. Apparently he's a truck driver. I don't know what he's doing. Don't really care. And that was in 2008. I knew that at the time I was getting pretty savvy about SEO, and I really delved into SEO. And I noticed that one of the things that people weren't doing was using SEO properly. And at that time, Craigslist was really huge. And if you could put an ad or a posting, not an ad, but a posting on Craigslist with a link and pictures and all this good stuff, and it would show up like very high on Google. So that's what I did. As I went, put a link to a website that I created using WordPress. I created a WordPress site, and I did all my own SEO on it and everything like that. And I put a link to it, and it started doing really, really good on the search engines, even more so than the experience companies. Now I'm in Lansing, Michigan. Lansing, Michigan is the home of the founder of 2 Men in a Truck. They're the daddies here. They started Ellen the Sheets, created 2 Men in a Truck right here in Lansing, Michigan. Their corporate headquarters were here. They were bought here recently by a private equity group that moved them, but they do have a big presence here in this area. And at that time, I was doing better in SEO than 2 Men in a Truck.
Wow.
And
Hey, real quick, before we get back to the video, if you're a local business owner and you're serious about getting more customers from Google, I want to invite you to our free school community linked down below. Inside, you'll get weekly coaching calls where I can personally help you one-on-one so you're never stuck wondering what to do next to get more customers. Once you join, we'll give you a custom-built ranking report to show you exactly how you're ranking against your competitors, and then we'll even show you the next couple things you can do to start ranking higher. We do all of these reports manually to make sure they're done right. You'll get our 50,000 Google review script, the same script we've used to help hundreds of businesses get over 50,000 reviews, showing you what to say, when to request the review, how to follow up, and get that review without being annoying or awkward. And you'll even get a step-by-step checklist on how to optimize your Google Business profile to make sure you're ranking at the top of Google. Sometimes you're making a few tweaks on that Google Business profile can be the difference between never showing up on Google and dominating your area. All in all, you'll get access to a community of business owners and experts trying to grow their business just like you. It's a safe space to ask questions and get more tailored one-on-one advice. It's 100% free. I don't have a coaching program or a course to sell you. Just click the link down below, join the community. We'd love to see you inside.
everybody was still doing they were doing the yellow pages, oh, you got to get the yellow pages. And I saw that people were going online, I had moved from California where in like some cities in California, they actually outlawed yellow page books in some of the cities because it was hurting the trees and blah, blah, blah. And I saw that this was coming. And there was a couple of guys that I would join business groups and they were like, Jay, I don't understand why our publishing business is going down. I go, what do you mean you don't understand? It's called the internet.
Yeah.
It's been around for like several years now. It's been around for 10 years. How did you not see that happen? Well, we were doing really good. Yeah, you were so stuck in your ways that you could not see the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
And they just died. So I started doing stuff with SEO and all pretty much what people would consider guerrilla marketing online. And one of the things that I also noticed that people weren't doing is they weren't utilizing YouTube. So everybody was getting all these, they said, well, look at our reviews on, at that time, Google Business wasn't really a thing that much, but they had other things like Yelp and stuff like that and other review sites. And I'm like, those are so fake. I mean, you could I was good enough to go and go read some of these reviews and I go, oh, this is just fake. It was fake. It was fake. And it was easy to have fake reviews. So to combat that, what I did is I had what was about the size of a cell phone now. It was called a flip cam, right? And it was basically a handheld camera about the size of a cell phone. And it would flip up with a USB port. And I would go around to all my jobs, and I would use this camera and video record people giving us their testimonials. And I would also I would set up on a tripod to do they would call it streaming now, but it would be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would basically stream us doing the job, right?
Wow.
And then at the end of the job, I would get the customer on video saying, you save moving and storage. Then that was my previous company was You Save Moving and Storage. They were the best thing since sliced bread and all this. And I would collect it and I kept putting it on Craigslist and I would put it on other social media sites like Facebook, et cetera, and Twitter and so on and so forth. And there was points where I was bringing in more jobs than the local 2 men in a truck people. And they were calling me going, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
I was like, well, doing social media. And they go, we don't see you having any ads in the yellow pages or anything. We don't understand how you're staying in business. I was like, because you're so out of date. And the reason why I bring up that story is we're in the same sort of evolution right now. You know what I mean? What's past is prologue. And with AI, there is a whole new arena to get into to build your business where you don't have to rely on the old standard methods, right? And that's why I bring up that story is because, we are now in the age of AI. And if you're using AI, you could basically rebuild that same process that I did back then with AI to move forward.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So, a man before your times, you were early on the SEO, you were early on all of that. When you started your company, Mr. Big Stuff, Moving and Labor in 2024 with $100, what was the very first thing you did?
Very first thing I did was I went out and I created a logo and I used ChatGPT to do a logo.
Yeah.
And I wanted something that was culturally acceptable, that was also young and vibrant, and it was bright and bold. So there's the song called Mr. Big Stuff. I remember the song from Mr. Big Stuff from Oreo cookies way back in the day. Oreo used to use that song, Mr. Big Stuff, right?
Okay.
And then, but there's an actual song called Mr. Big Stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed in the past, people would say, I just need your help moving the big stuff. I just want help with the big stuff. And I just tied those together. So I created a logo and then created some quick promo with that logo, a business card and a little bit of a flyer. And then I created that in Canva, and then Canva's really cheap. And then so I had Canva print me off a bunch of little business cards for like
Mhm.
25 bucks for like 50 of them or 100 of them or something like that. And that's what I did with the first little bit.
Okay, wow, and so you get the business cards, you get the logo, you got some branding dialed. Now how'd you get your first couple customers?
Well, then the first couple of customers, I relied on third party sites
Okay,
to bring me business. I used Moving Helper, movinghelp.com, hirehelper.com. I signed up for a couple other ones, and then most of it came through Thumbtack.
okay,
I
okay.
signed up with Thumbtack. I didn't do Angie's because I had horrible experience with Angie in the past. Thumbtack is very similar to Angie, but I said, I'm going to give it a try. And it was just kind of for the first 3 weeks, it was trial and error. And
Mm,
then I realized that I figured out basically, if you want to get business through Thumbtack, one, you had to have good pricing,
mhm,
right? Had to be very competitive pricing. So I lowered my pricing down to the very barest minimum that I could go to and still make a profit,
mhm,
but was still competitive to everybody else.
mm,
And then one thing is I basically lived on my phone and computer. So when a Thumbtack referral came in, I was right on top. I was like one of the first people to actually answer the call,
yeah,
right? One thing that I learned from way back when I had my previous thing is you got jobs if you answered the phone,
yeah,
right? If you answer the phone, you were like 80% assured that you're going to get that job.
yeah,
All you had to do was answer. I got more jobs because I answered the phone than I did and pretty much a lot of the things, right? My social media would get me into the ball game, into the park, so that I could be seen. But once I was seen, if someone called up, if I answered the phone, I was getting that job.
yeah,
So I use that same principle with Thumbtack. So when I got a Thumbtack thing, I was I was right on. I called them like right away, like within minutes, and
mm,
I would call them up and say, "Hi, you just put a thing with Thumbtack, blah blah blah." They're like, "Yeah, that's awesome. You were the first person. You're really quick." I was like, "Well, that's an indication of how good we do our job."
yeah,
Right. And I would just turn it into that's why we're the best. Right. And then after I did Thumbtack for a while and I built up enough, I think it was like 20, 30 5-star reviews. That's when I started systematically raising the prices of
okay.
my services.
Okay, cool. So I mean, what you said there was gold. Just so anybody knows that he's practicing what he preaches. Before we got on the call, he was like, before we started recording, he said, one caveat, if my phone rings, I'm answering it. And I said, hey, it's recorded, you're good. Yeah, we can cut it out, no worries. And so you're practicing what you're preaching there. And it's crazy how people will complain about not having enough leads, not getting enough jobs all the time. And then you go and look and they've got 10 missed calls, or you go and call their business on Google or whatever, and they don't answer the phone. And so
Right.
why do you think nobody answers the phone, especially in the services businesses?
Yeah, and I've heard that other service businesses, I go to these networking groups and they go, yeah, I called this plumber and he just didn't call me, and then I called somebody up and he answered the phone. All you have to do is answer the phone, and if you can't answer the phone, get somebody to answer the phone. You
Yeah.
can get a high school kid for $10 an hour to for 2 hours every other night or whatever it is
Yeah.
to answer the flipping phone.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not expensive. It's not hard. Get your girlfriend, get your boyfriend. I don't care. Get your kids to answer the phone. Teach them how to answer the phone politely and, professionally, and answer the phone. Even if it's like, hey, sorry, Jay's not here at the office. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He should be back in the office in about an hour or two. I'll take a message. I'll make sure that he gets it and get you a call back within an hour or two. If not, I will call you back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. All you have to do is answer the phone.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how simple it can be sometimes, and how just if you do the basics well, you can grow a great business. And so you got started with those third parties, Thumbtack, etc. How long, or are you still, how long did you rely on them until you started generating some of your own business from, maybe it was SEO or something like that?
Well, I'm no longer really relying on Thumbtack because one, they're very, very expensive. They've been increasing their thing over the last few things. So I started using Thumbtack when I started getting people calling. And so I don't even use them as much. Every once in a while I'll check it out, but I for the most part, I don't use them. And one of the big reasons why I don't use Thumbtack is Thumbtack really isn't really located for Lansing area, which is weird. I
Mm,
could go to 2 hours southeast to Detroit, or go an hour to west to Great Rapids, and Thumbtack has a huge representation in those areas.
yeah.
But here in Lansing, the capital city of the state, they have little to no representation. So it's kind of hard. It's a lot of these third-party sites like this really have very little representation in the area. Like, there's a couple of these third party things like Moving Help or Hire Helper or Thumbtack. I forget what it was. It's like something, and they don't. If I was in Ann Arbor, which is a couple hours away, or Detroit area, I'd have no problem using them.
Yeah.
But because they're not in Lansing, so I could sign up for them, but they're not doing any.
Yeah, they're not sending any leads. Gotcha.
So that's so between the fact that Thumbtack really doesn't represent themselves that well here in this area, and the fact that I'm now getting leads and jobs booked through organic means, not having to rely on Thumbtack, I don't really use them as much. Every
Yeah.
once in a while, I'll get somebody that'll book us for a TV mounting job or something, which is
Mhm.
fine. I basically, because of no representation, the fact that it's so expensive, I've stopped using them.
Okay.
But when I first started, they were my lifeblood. So you got to do what you got to do to get jobs, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And so you stopped kinda relying on them. How did you what are the couple things or the couple tactics that you did to start generating business organically in Lansing?
Well, the first thing was filling out, signing up, and optimizing my Google
Business.
business profile.
Yeah,
That is 100% number one priority activity that you should do. Whether you have a business or not, you should have a Google My Business profile,
yeah,
right? And then really everything that Google says to fill out, fill it out. And
yeah,
if you have a hard time filling it out or don't know what to fill out, use ChatGPT to help you fill it out.
yeah.
You could use the free version of ChatGPT, which will be just as good, or you can sign up for $20 a month and get their premium service. But ChatGPT will help you. You can get all your creatives done through ChatGPT for free. You know what I mean? You could get like images and all that. Just
Mm,
go out and start doing that. And people still, Chat AI is still, somebody will look at an image and go, "Oh, that's AI." But it's
mhm.
getting to the point where you can't
Tell.
discern
Yeah.
between AI and an actual image, right?
Mhm.
And it's getting better and better and better. The more we use it, the better it's going to be. And eventually it's going to be so good that you're just going to say, "This is what I'm thinking. This is the colors, blah, blah, blah. Here's kind of the copy I want." Do it. And it'll already know how to do marketing, right?
Yeah.
It's getting to that point where it's getting close to that. You still have to tweak it. You still have to add your personality, but it's getting closer every time. But yeah, you just use ChatGPT to fill out everything. Make sure you're filling out the keywords. You're using the right
Main kind of
service tag that for your service that you think, right? Like I'm a mover, so there's plenty of tags I could do. I could say I'm a mover. I could say I'm in the moving and storage, or, home services or whatever. Use the right tag. And basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the University of YouTube and check out a couple of videos,
yeah.
and it'll explain it. But basically, fill out a Google business profile. And then once you have that done, you start concentrating on reviews.
Mm,
Every job you're on, everything you do is about getting reviews,
yeah.
right? I've actually created a little thank you card using ChatGPT and stuff to actually create this. Now,
Huh.
this is the front of the card. It says, "Thank you for using Mr. Big Stuff. Help a friend out." And it's this little thing say, "Hey, pass this card on to somebody that that's moving, and we'll give them a little bit of discount," or something like that. And then on here, I give my guys a chance to put their name down, and they
Mm,
can write their name on the card. Now, what happens if they turn it over? It says, "Hey, we're just asking for a quick favor." And I give them a choice: Google, Facebook, or Yelp. And they could scan it on their code and leave a review on either one of those sites, and then use If they name the guys on the front, then the guys get a bonus for the review. Plus,
Mhm.
if the card is passed along, they could say, "Hey, I see that Kevin did help my friend with a move. I was hoping I could talk to you about a move, and can I use Kevin?" You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then if that happens, the guys get a little bit of a commission bonus for that as well.
Yeah.
So if the card's passed on and the customer asks for a particular crew member, if they're available, you know what I mean, they'll get a little bit. So it's one to really reward your crew for doing a great job, to get reviews, and then, you know, and then just keep that circular, that exponential vortex going. And because reviews are important. Now, I say that if you're brand new, you should just concentrate on getting nothing but reviews.
Mm.
That's all you should concentrate on. It's getting a review, getting a review, getting a review, getting a review. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Mm.
But obviously you're going for 5-star reviews. And you
Mm.
need to get at least 40 to 50 reviews. Because if you do get a bad one, because you've had a bad day, or you had a guy who had a bad day, it's not going to hurt your rating.
Yeah.
Right? Any 4.5 and above is considered good. You kind of don't want to go ideally not below 4.8.
Yeah.
You know, if you're within the 4.5 to 5-star review, you're still going to be, looked upon favorably,
Yeah.
right? So the more reviews you get, the more 5-star reviews you get, the better off your rating is going to be. And then more ratings you get, the more and more you can increase your prices, thus making more and more profit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. And so when it comes to, so you started getting some organic business. Can you walk us through kind of the first couple months of starting the business, $100? What was revenue like? What was growth like for those first, maybe 6 months or so when you're kind of in the weeds and starting with $100?
Well, the first month, January, we got no business until like the last week and a half.
Hmm.
And then that week, we ended up making like 5 grand gross, which was good. It helped pay the rent, and I was on every job. So I was only paid, it was me and one other guy. So I was able to use that money to pay, the rent of the building, and, all the bills and stuff associated, phones. Next month was a little bit better, but still right around the 6,000 thing. But we had a little bit more jobs dispersed throughout the month. So
Hmm.
not really, although I concentrated at the end of the month, we still, like, throughout the month, we had a job here or there, you know what I mean?
Real quick, if you're a local business owner and you want to start getting customers from Google, you know how important Google reviews are. Every week, I talk to business owners just like you across hundreds of industries who know reviews matter, but never seem to have the time or the system in place to actually get them. That's exactly why I've spent the last 2 years building Review Harvest. We built it with a non-tech savvy business owner in mind, so anybody can set it up in minutes and start getting reviews today. It automates the process of getting real reviews from your customers, responding to those reviews, and repurposing them across your website and across your social media platforms. It's a set it and forget it software. You can get it all set up in about 10 minutes and you never have to worry about reviews again. We can integrate into the tools you're already using so you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to train your team on how to request reviews. You don't have to request them manually. You get customers, we get your reviews. It's simple as that. And the first play in our playbook is what we call a review reactivation. You probably have hundreds or thousands of previous customers who loved your service but never left your review. So a lot of times our users can double or even triple their reviews just in the first couple months of working with us when we do that review reactivation.
March is when it really started picking up, and that's when we started really getting the jobs really start flowing. We started getting jobs from all the other third party, like Moving Help and Hire Helper and stuff. We started getting more jobs from that. And then we did, I think, about 11,000 March. April, we did close to 15,000. And then from basically May through September, we were doing 30,000 a month.
Wow. 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 I mean, listening to that, you're talking about, obviously you have so much experience in the moving business, but you're talking about starting with $100 and then having a business that's doing 25K in revenue in 6 months. That's insane. That's literally crazy. I mean, people, obviously you had the experience, but that's what you teach people to do on your YouTube channel, right? The information's out there, right? You post it all out there for free. People can learn. And so what do you think the biggest mistake that movers make is that keeps them from getting to that level?
It's their scarcity mindset. I don't have enough leads. There's no lack of leads, dude. There's
Yeah.
no lack.
Mm.
There's lack of creativity
Yeah.
of find where to get their leads. There's a lack of initiative to go get up off your ass and go knock on doors.
Yeah.
Or, even if it's an email to a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or, an apartment manager or storage unit manager or human resources manager,
Mhm.
just do something. Get out there, knock on doors, do cold calling. You got to be proactive. There's no lack of business.
Yeah.
Or if and this goes for any home services. This is
Mhm.
how you make $30,000 in the next 30 days without fail. If you did this one simple activity, I guarantee, I don't care what city you're into. I mean, well, I do care. I mean, if you're in a city of like 2,000 people and there's nothing within an hour's drive, that might be a little tough. But if you're in a fairly decent sized city like mine, like Lansing, the greater Lansing area is 3,000 people, 300,000 people.
30,000.
Yeah, the town that I live in is about 10,000 people, right? If you just went and made a flyer like this on Canva with your logo and using ChatGPT, you can easily make this up, right? Or you could just give them the ChatGPT your dimensions, your logo, what you're trying to say, and ChatGPT will create a front
Mhm.
and back side for you with
Mhm.
these dimensions. So you don't even have to use Canva, right? Make up that, print off about 500 to 1,000 of those. And if you went and knocked on to 5,000 appropriate businesses or homes, right? For like, if you're, let's say a landscape, you're trying to mow somebody's lawn. Who is a good business for you? Well, you're going to want big corporations that have huge lawns, right? Where
Mhm.
you can get a big corporate contract, right?
Yep.
Right. Or you just go and you start knocking on everybody's door in a high revenue area, a
Mhm.
middle to high revenue area. If you go in the hood, it's probably not going to help you because they got a lawn the size of a postage stamp. Not only that, they can't afford you. So, you know what I mean? But if you go into a nice neighborhood that has like a quarter acre, half acre, or a full acre of land, and the homes are like high income, middle to high income homes, and you knocked on 5 freaking doors and passed out your flyer to 500 people, I guarantee you will make $20,000 to $30,000 cash money gross in the next 30 days.
Mhm.
All you have to do is pass out 500 to 1,000 flyers in one
Yeah.
month's time, and I guarantee, I don't care if you're home cleaner, window washer, mobile mechanic, lawnmower company, moving company, whatever, knock on 500 to 1,000 people's doors over the next 30 days, and you'll make $20,000 to $30,000 gross income. Guarantee it. I will put my money where my mouth is. I will stick my foot out. And if you don't do it, then you did something wrong or you were just plain lazy.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like so obvious, like, if more people know that you exist, you'll make more money, but people don't do it, People don't go out and let people know they exist and do some advertising or whatever. What do you think keeps people from going and knocking the doors or going and making the outreaches or going and reaching out to the realtors? What keeps people from doing that?
Fear,
Fear.
their fear of rejection, fear of like not knowing what to say, fear of being, not know. Basically, it's a inborn fear. People have like stage fright. It's
Yeah.
an irrational fear, but they have these fears, and it's also a scarcity mindset, right? Oh, I don't want to talk to those because they've already got their friends and neighbors. How do you know? Maybe their friends and neighbors suck.
Yeah.
Maybe they referred someone to their neighbor and their neighbor screwed it all up. It's like, go back to that adage. Just answer the phone, right? I can't tell you how many times I walked up, knocked on somebody's door, or went to a real estate agent. Oh, great, man. We were using so and so, and they just stopped talking to us, and we really need this guy to help us out. Well, here's my card. Have him
Yeah.
give me a call. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then foster those relationships. Foster those relations. Once you built the relationship, foster them. Treat them like family. Bring them a bottle of wine or cookies or, little gifts and trinkets, as appreciation.
Yeah.
Go and cater a dinner for your top favorite real estate agents. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Invite 5 real estate agents that you have a lot of admiration or give, and just hold a little dinner and buy them a dinner or bring them coffee.
Yeah.
Here's something you could do. Go out to one of these coffee distributors, create your own blend of coffee, put your logo on it, give it a funny name like, Moving Sucks Dark Blend, right? You know what I mean? And then go out to every real estate agent, anybody that can refer you and go, here's our here's our self-branded coffee. And then on the back, it talks about the business and how they can get it with a little QR code and blah, blah, blah. And just give them a bag of coffee that's branded.
Yeah.
Or cookies or whatever you want. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah.
You could go on private label bottles of wine for cheap. You can go out and go get some cookie dough, bake, 100 dozen of I don't know, 100, yeah, whatever. You
Cookies.
know what I'm talking about. Go
Yeah.
break 100 cookies, put them in like 3 cookies per pack, put your label on it, and go and give them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not hard. It's just being creative. It's just about getting out there and doing it. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So a lot of people think, one, they can't do it. Two, it's cost too much. And three, it's too hard. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just pulling your head out of your butt, realizing that people put on pants the same way you put on your pants.
Yeah.
Nobody's better than you are. And just, fight the fear.
Yeah.
It's like Confucius says it, the Bible says it, there's all sorts of places, but fortune favors the bold.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? You just gotta, be bold, be
Yeah.
purposeful.
Yeah.
Yes, you might be fearful. Yes, you might have reservations mentally, but after you've done it a few times, then your skin toughens up and it becomes like not a big deal. And
Yeah.
then you realize that then it just becomes a numbers game. You know that, okay, if I knock on 20 people's houses, I'm going to get 20 no's. And on that 21st one, someone's buying.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. And it ultimately comes down to how bad do you want it, right? These things aren't comfortable, but if if you want it bad enough, you'll do the things that are required and you'll make sure people know you exist. And so this was great stuff, Jay. I appreciate you hopping on. Where can people find you if they're interested in moving in the Lansing area, or if they're interested in learning more about, your coaching and stuff that you do for moving companies?
Well, if they're interested in moving services or any kind of services related to moving services, they could go to justthebigstuff.com or they could just Google me, just Google Mr. Big Stuff, labor and moving online. Now, if they're interested in starting their own moving business or want to get coaching or some help, they can look me up on YouTube. The channel is 7-Figure Moving Academy, right? Or they could go on Facebook and look up the 7-Figure Moving Group, right? 7-Figure Moving Group, right?
Sweet.
So,
Awesome. And we'll have that stuff linked down below in the show notes and in the description of the YouTube video. But yeah, Jay, we really, really appreciate you hopping on and hope you have a great rest of your day.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that.
Yes, sir. See you, Jay.
All right, bye-bye.